Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to tackle something that, well, for a long time felt like a certainty in business.
Mm-hmm.
That old rallying cry, you know the one, people don't quit bad jobs, they leave bad managers. We've all heard it a million
Yeah,
times.
absolutely. And for decades, it really felt true. But the source material we're looking at today confirms a really fundamental shift has happened.
A shift away from the manager being the single point of failure.
Exactly. It's not that managers are suddenly perfect, but the problem is just, it's bigger than one person now. The real reason people are leaving is the poor overall employee experience, the whole system.
So things like digital tools, being able to compare your job to others globally, that transparency makes it impossible to hide systemic issues anymore.
Right. You can't just blame a single bad manager when the onboarding is flawed or there's no recognition culture. The whole experience is visible.
Okay, so if the problem is systemic, the solution has to be too. And it seems like organizations are waking up to this.
They are. The numbers are staggering, really. Employee experience, or EX, is now an imperative for 92% of HR leaders.
92, wow.
Yeah, and that's a huge jump from just a few years ago.
But here's the part that gets me. That urgency is massive, but there's a catch.
There's a big catch, and this really speaks to how complex this is. Despite that 92% figure, 74% of companies, they still don't have a clear, actionable EX strategy.
That's the gap. That is the huge gap we need to talk about. Why? Is it a lack of resources, or is it that EX just feels too soft, too hard to measure?
I think it's largely the latter. I mean, EX is the sum of every single touch point. The interview, the first day, the last day, all of it.
That's a lot to wrap your arms around in a boardroom.
It is. So our mission today is to really distill these 7 expert techniques from the sources to provide a concrete roadmap.
To take EX from a concept to a real plan.
Exactly. Let's unpack it, and we should start right at the very beginning.
Onboarding.
Onboarding. If EX is a journey, the start pretty much determines everything. A great onboarding experience leads to, I think the number is 69% of new hires sticking around for 3 years.
69%. That's a powerful stat. It shows the ROI on a good first impression is just massive.
It's huge.
And the key insight seems to be anticipation. Don't wait for the first day. Start communicating before they even walk in the door.
Yes. Welcome them warmly. Make them feel like a person, not just a number on a spreadsheet. And the physical welcome kit, that's become almost standard practice now.
But the best ones, they create a real moment, right? I've heard stories.
Oh, definitely. Like Apple giving their interns a MacBook Pro and gift cards.
Yeah.
Or Verisys, a company that sends a package with balloons right to the doorstep of their new remote hires.
Okay, but let's be realistic. Handing out MacBooks that's not possible for 99% of companies.
Sure.
So what's the core principle here? What can you do without spending thousands?
It's about personalization. It's about anticipating their needs. Verisys understood that a remote worker needs office supplies, sure, but they also need a moment of connection.
So they don't feel so isolated.
Exactly. And that personalization, that thought, that's what sticks with you no matter the price tag. And, while that human touch is key, software can help automate this for consistency.
Which is vital if you're trying to scale.
Right.
Okay, so you've welcomed them. The job's not done. In fact, if you stop listening now, you undermine all that good work.
Which brings us to technique number 2. The feedback loop.
Yes, the feedback loop. You have to listen. Otherwise, you're just managing based on assumptions, not facts.
And the structure of that loop is critical.
It is. One of our sources, Volodymyr Shigal, lays out 4 essential steps. You start with gathering the info, then you analyze it.
And I feel like that's where most companies stop.
That's exactly where they stop.
They do the survey, they look at the spreadsheet, and then nothing happens. Right. And that creates so much cynicism. The last 2 steps are mandatory if you want to build trust. You have to act on the data, and then, this is the most critical part, you have to notify everyone.
Tell them what you did and why.
Tell them what changed. Close the loop. It shows them their feedback was worth something. It builds trust. If you skip that, you're generating cynicism.
And there are a ton of ways to gather that data, right? Onboarding surveys, suggestion boxes, pulse surveys.
Pulse surveys are key for speed. And you can even monitor, public company review sites. Modern tools can then take all that raw feedback and turn it into real-time analytics.
So you can actually see the whole picture.
You see the whole EX picture, and you connect that feedback directly to action.
Okay, so if the feedback loop tells us what people want, I'm guessing a lot of the time the answer is recognition.
You'd be right. That leads us right into our third technique. But you're right to be a little skeptical. Generic applause just doesn't work.
But does real recognition move the needle enough?
Oh, absolutely. For anyone who doubts the ROI of just saying thank you, the data is really clear. 70% of employees say recognition drives their happiness at work.
70%. And I saw another stat.
The 91% one.
Yes, 91% are spurred to work harder when they feel recognized.
It's a massive motivator. But, and this is the crucial part, it has to be personalized. You can't just hand out the same gift card to everyone.
Right. The reward has to match the person and the achievement. It needs to be a thoughtful mix of, monetary and non-monetary things.
And it doesn't have to have a huge budget. I love the Eon example. They boosted staff engagement by 8%. 8%.
Just with thank you cards.
Just with personalized, handwritten thank you cards. It shows you saw the person, not just the output. It's about the time and the thought that went into it.
And that kind of recognition has to be built on an inclusive culture, which I think is our fourth technique, building a real DEI strategy, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
A foundational one? Absolutely.
But despite all the talk, the data shows there's still a lot of dissatisfaction here, especially with younger generations.
Yeah, the numbers are pretty stark. Only 33% of Gen Zers and 28% of millennials are satisfied with their employers' DEI efforts.
Why are those numbers so low?
I think it comes down to authenticity. Younger generations expect to see measurable action. They can spot surface-level commitment a mile away.
And the research still points to some really concerning biases in hiring.
It does. Things like African-American applicants being 10% less likely to get an interview, or even just name biases, a Jamal versus a Greg. It still happens.
And this isn't about saying recruiters are bad people. It's about acknowledging that unconscious bias is real and it's systemic. So what are the fixes? What does Linda Schaffer recommend?
She lays out a few foundational things. First, launch real, actionable DEI awareness training. Then, move toward pay transparency. That's the equity part.
And then encourage affinity groups.
Yes. Employee groups linked by a common interest. They're a fantastic tool for inclusion. They give people an instant sense of community, especially in a huge company.
Like Amazon, right? They have something like 13 different groups.
They do. Things like the Black Employee Network, Body Positive Peers. It gives people a formal structure to find support and mentorship right away.
Okay, let's pivot to total employee support. Our fifth technique is about taking a holistic approach to well-being. This used to be seen as a soft benefit, but the numbers prove otherwise.
It's a very serious investment, and the ROI is there. Genuine wellness programs can lead to an 85% increase in work happiness.
85%. And a reduction in sick leave, too.
A 28% reduction. But that happiness number is the real story. It translates to less turnover, better focus, things you can actually measure.
So what does holistic actually mean here? It's more than a gym membership.
Way more. The sources break it down into 5 pillars. You need to address physical and emotional health, social needs, financial stability, work-life balance, and professional development. All 5.
And this is especially true in high-stress fields like healthcare, but really, it's for everyone.
It's for everyone. The whole person shows up to work every day. We saw some great examples. Green Plains offers biometric screenings and on-site fitness classes.
That's the physical health part.
Right. And then a company called Revolutionize focuses on a strong health and safety program, which covers psychological safety just as much as physical.
Okay, so moving from physical and emotional health to social health. Our sixth technique is about connection and maybe having a little fun.
Gamifying your team building.
Right. And the logic here is fascinating.
It really is. The fact that adults actually spend more time playing games than kids do, it's wild. Gamification just taps into that desire for challenge and friendly competition.
And it saves us all from those awkward, cringy team-building events that everyone dreads.
Exactly. And it can be so simple. Little challenges, escape rooms, quizzes, or for remote teams, virtual games like Scribble or Codenames.
It's about creating shared, fun experiences that build real connections.
Quickly and efficiently.
Okay, that brings us to our seventh and final tip. And I have to say, this one was the most surprising to me.
Offering legal assistance as a voluntary benefit.
Yeah, it feels so separate from the day-to-day job. Why is helping with a will or a traffic ticket so important for employee experience?
Because it's the ultimate stress reducer. Mark Pierce, one of our sources, points to 3 benefits. It's cost-effective for the employee. It's a huge time saver.
And it provides peace of mind.
That's the big one, peace of mind.
Just imagine, You have a star employee who's suddenly distracted, their performance is slipping, and you find out it's because they're dealing with a nasty divorce or some unexpected debt.
That stress just consumes them. It's all they can think about. So if you, as the employer, can provide a low-cost, confidential way for them to resolve that,
You're showing you support their whole life, not just their work life.
and that support translates directly into better focus when they're on the clock, it's a powerful way to mitigate external stress.
And it's not some niche boutique perk either. The adoption rate is really high.
It is. 75% of Fortune 100 companies already offer these plans. It shows that leadership really understands the value.
So we've covered a ton of ground here. It's clear that creating a great employee experience isn't a single project. It's an ongoing journey across all 7 of these pillars.
To recap quickly, it's about systemizing that human element. Start with that warm welcome. Build the feedback loop. Give personalized recognition. Build on a strong DEI foundation. Commit to holistic well-being.
And don't forget to inject some fun with gamification and provide that safety net with legal assistance.
Right.
And looking across all 7 of these techniques, the one thread that seems to run through everything is customization.
Personalization.
Personalization.
Yeah.
Recognizing the employee as an individual with unique needs, whether that's in their welcome kit or their wellness plan.
Exactly. So we want to leave you with a final question to think about for your own organization.
Okay.
Given that this personalized, holistic support is the trend across all 7 pillars, if you had to pick just one area to focus on, which single effort would give you the highest, fastest, and most verifiable ROI on retention?
The one thing you could confidently report to your leadership next quarter.
What would it be? Because that decision, that's where your resources should probably flow first. EX has to prove its worth on the balance sheet.
That's a great question to ponder. Keep thinking about that choice as you continue building a culture that people want to stay in.
Until next time, keep digging deep.